Public Investment Corporation Commission continues as well this morning.
Another mystery witness is expected to take the stand. Now, all witnesses have been placed under witness protection due to death threats.
Well, the PIC has been in the spotlight over claims that it's mismanaged the pension funds of government employees through poor investments.
Well, our colleague, that's the NC reporter Heidi Jokos, is following that inquiry for us, but she's joining us and gracing us with her presence in the Morning News Today
Before
studios
she heads
after
out.
a long time. Morning. How are you, Heidi?
Morning.
Morning, Heidi. So let's just go back to last week and what we heard from Mondi Gungubele about were they asked to resign? Weren't they asked to resign? Was there a phone call made saying do this or else? I mean, what are we convinced of at this point?
At this point, I don't think we're convinced of anything, because on Monday we saw Mondi Gungubele, who's also the chairperson of the PIC board, coming and saying that it was a unanimous decision by the board to step aside because of all these allegations levelled against the PIC board members. And then later that day, you heard from another former board member, Dudu Klatshwayo, who said, actually, we were forced to resign. We were told you either resign or you get fired, and that's why the board took the decision to resign. A day later, we heard from another board member who said, no, what Dudu Klatshwayo said is actually the truth. We were forced to resign. But then we heard from the evidence leader that he had a conversation with Mondi Gungubele, and he said, I need to see the draft minutes of that board meeting. I need to understand what exactly happened. And he backtracked and said, well, in fact, we were almost forced to resign because the finance minister, Tito Mboweni, said we need to do some introspection and we need to look within ourselves, and we were basically given no option but to step aside. So the words fired aren't being used, but when you hear from the two different board members, they're saying that they were forced to resign. And yesterday we heard him speaking to ENCA where he said he never lied. But you know, his versions don't match. One day he's saying they weren't forced, and then the next day he's saying, well, in fact, it was not an easy decision and we basically weren't given an option.
During inquiries, a lot of stuff all comes up about what happened in the past, and he says, she said. Now, Malusi Gigaba was finance minister for a particular time, and during that time, apparently some key meetings of the PIC were stopped. What did witnesses have to say?
Well, when Malusi Gigaba was finance minister, there was a lot of tension at the PIC. This is what we've heard from various witnesses, and this is because during the year 2017, there were a lot of cabinet reshuffles at the time. So there was a lot of uncertainty of who would be deputy finance minister and who would be finance minister. But we heard from two specific witnesses that basically said that when Malusi Gigaba became finance minister, very key PIC board meetings were put to a complete standstill. And this is because Gigaba said he needs to familiarize himself with the PIC work and he needs to understand how the PIC functions. And that's why he's decided to put that at a complete standstill. And these PIC board members said, but this has obviously put a lot of strain on the board because they can't do their work properly, and they can't, communicate key messages and so forth to the finance minister. And Sandra Beswick, who is one of the former board members, basically saying that this just exacerbated fears within the PIC because it was an environment of fear and distrust. Basically, the board wasn't trusted anymore under the leadership of Malusi Gigaba.
So let's look ahead to this week. What are we expecting? Those names, Steinhoff, VBS, if we remember them, are they expected to come up?
I've been dying for them to come up because we've been focusing on AO Technology Solutions for the first 3 or 4 weeks of this commission. But the PIC Commission has released a statement to say that AO Technology has been in the spotlight for now, but they will move into other investments such as Steinhoff and VBS. So unfortunately, we do not know who is set to testify this week because they've all been placed under witness protection. But they have mentioned that they will go into Steinhoff and VBS deals that the PIC invested into, obviously putting government employees' pension funds at risk.
How much longer is the PIC inquiry supposed to go? Do we know?
So we know it's until the end of March for now, so Monday to Wednesday until the end of March. And they did say that it might go till mid-April, but they have to submit their final report to the President by the end of April.
Is that enough time, I wonder? Wow. Okay, thanks very much, Heidi Jokos. Head out off to to the inquiry, I suppose, this morning. It's in Pretoria, so best you get going. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll hear from her later on in the day.